That's the Mad Skull right there. Yeah, good to hear his voice back on the scene, man. Yeah, Wetty Beats production. The Road Legends. And he's certainly among them. Yeah, young legend. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, getting ready to switch gears. Yeah, a Monday edition of the Street Beat. Unusual, I know, but we're getting ready to do it for you. Yeah, we're back outside. Drinking on my boat, we are in the sky, and we bet so high, until we die, we die, we
Stop what you're doing. I want to tell you about Automarine Coatings. In Villa, right on the main, you have a car, you have a boat, and you want them look nice. Now with the Automotive, they are the official distributors of the Max Meyer car refinishing brand. It includes car automotive paints, clear coat reducers, hardeners, body filler, compressor fittings, automotive body oils. You have coolants, you have degreasers. So run down and check them out now. You're getting a 10% discount on all automotive paints. You have a boat, bottom protectant primer, barrier shield primer. They also carry the anti-fouling paint, fiberglass resin, fiberglass matting. They have stainless steel bolts and screws, 2-cycle and 4-cycle marine oil, anchor chains, buoys and fenders. They have everything you could think about for your boats and for your car. So run down and check them out now. They're located in Villa, right on the main. Auto Marine Coatings. When they reach down there, check Bruce, check Michael, and they go work with you. A 10% discount, it's waiting on you. Let me go down there now. Auto Marine Coatings in Villa.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be overlooked when it comes to your car or whatever you drive. SVG Tire Sales and Services in Balls Avenue and in Arnisvale carries a wide selection of quality new tires to fit any car, truck, minibus, or SUV, so you can experience a comfortable and safe commute every time. We are agents for the world's most reliable brands on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the King of the Mountain, Cooper Tires, King of the Road and Track, Ostone, the King of the Outback, and High Fly, the King of the Asian Highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy-duty trucks from MRF, High Fly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingstown, 457-1467, or in Arnisvale, 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
You're listening to Star 98.3 and 104.7. Shining through, just shining for you. Star FM.
It's a Monday afternoon. Yeah, top of the afternoon to you, wherever you may be. If you're on your way home, blessed love to you. Hope you're taking it easy on the road. If you're heading the other direction because you're checking in on an evening shift or a night shift, yeah. Wishing you Godspeed as you go through. For those of you who probably just waking up, talking visitors, you know. You came in just in time for the weekend and you had too much of a good time. You understand what I'm saying? You were fetting, wet, dry, and in all kinds of conditions. Yeah, those of you who came in for Carnival, want to welcome you. Hope you're enjoying the season so far. Much more to come. That's right. Big ups to the juniors as well. Our young people. You all had a great time on Saturday. We're Junior Carnival, Kiddies Carnival, as we say. Big ups to the pan people and them. I understand you had a great showing. all the components of Carnival. Kaiso, big ups to you too. Here with the king. He is not the king of Calypso or anything like that. He's not you understand?
I wrote a couple in my time.
So you just, in other words, you're stuck to what you know. Yeah. You didn't go beyond. You understand?
I didn't go beyond.
Yeah, plenty like you know. Yeah, plenty like you. Don't worry yourself. Yeah, you play to your strengths.
That's right.
You understand?
And singing is certainly not one of my
If it's not your thing, that's how it is. Yeah, no shame in that. You understand? Yeah, just get a little twisty.
One, two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some more little tighten up there. Yeah. Anyhow, we're hearing you. Very
Yes.
good. How you doing, Your Majesty?
Well, I'm cool. As usual, as a Vinci, I'm very much enjoying this festive season.
Yeah, I stay in Emily, you know, it's a young people carnival.
Well, of course, I can't make it to the fets.
Okay, all right.
Especially those
So
using
you're doing the same
water.
like me. Yeah.
But where the calypsos are concerned,
Right,
so
supporting and
Yes, man.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Beautiful thing.
yes,
You know, here we are, 2026. You know,
it's half year already.
Yeah, look at that.
6 months and tomorrow.
You understand?
Shit.
Yeah, welcome in a new month. You know, and boy, it's this, you know, we can't even be celebratory. As matter of fact, somebody was saying, boy, the carnival come at the right time because the mood.
Yes, the board of the country.
You understand?
will be lift, and
Yeah.
I'm really hoping though that as a people we go out and support the activities and
Yes.
get a chance also to spend some money and allow some of our people to make some money also. And that money would circulate because, you know, we have been hearing the cry,
Yeah.
things are slow and so on. This is one part of the year when you get a lot of activities going, and I really hope that those persons who depend on these festive periods that they cash in on it and make something, because don't forget the absolutely necessary period coming up has to
tell
do
you.
with school.
Yep.
Our children going into preschools, some going into primary schools, some going secondary schools, some moving on to college, some moving on to university, and those things
And
don't
you're
come
going on.
cheaply.
Well, let me talk the
Yeah,
thing,
man.
man. You're going on.
Yes.
Gone are the days when we used to kind of approach them thing there
With certain surety.
yeah, and excitement.
Of
You understand
course.
what I'm saying? And pride to it. You understand?
Yes.
Nowadays, boys are scratch head.
Yes, because you know,
Scratching the head, boy.
one of the things with the former administration, the ULP administration, when it came to education, we basically left no stones unturned.
That's right.
And we sought always to provide our students, our children, if you like, with the opportunities to allow them to excel, to put themselves in a position
Yes.
to maximize, I usually say, the opportunities being offered.
Because the opportunities were there.
Yes,
You understand?
and-
We made all the right connections.
Exactly.
You
And,
know, especially towards higher learning. You knew that when you got out of secondary school, you know, you were pushing to get into college because you wanted to do well, because your next step was to, you know, get a scholarship to some institution of higher learning, whether you went to another college or to university or something. You understand?
Exactly.
Either you wanted to go to Cuba or you wanted to go to Taiwan or some other place, and there were choices.
You know, I listen to some critics and they say that, look, the ULP was too generous in its education initiatives. And I used to contest that argument, even before I got to Parliament, because my argument has always been that you cannot look at education in the traditional way. The monies that you expend in education is an investment.
Of course.
Is an investment
Absolutely.
to the future. And basically, when you see how our students have responded positively to those initiatives, that is why we have said, and I have made this point over and over, and I would continue to repeat it, that look, at the beginning of at the turn of the 21st century, we were wasting too many of our resources, including that of our human resources.
Yes.
And we embark on a series of initiatives that basically culminated because of the impact into a virtual revolution.
That's
and that
right.
is why.
And they don't
call
like to
this
hear that,
thing-
you know.
I know, and that is why
They
we
don't like to
always
hear that.
repeat it. We have experience in this country an education revolution.
Yes.
An education revolution that has transformed this country.
That's right.
Persons forget that I like to say at the turn of the 21st century, we were third in terms of our ranking, in terms of our human development. We were only ahead of Haiti and Guyana.
Yes, that's the thing. That is the thing.
Today, if we follow what the United Nations Development Program has produced in terms of the human development, quality of life, and you look at their index, look in the Windward Islands,
Yes.
we at the top, and they're only, I think, the last time, only Antigua and St. Kitts
That's right.
from the Leeward Islands.
We
are
have
above
made
us.
significant strides.
Significant strides.
You understand? It's undeniable.
Undeniable.
You know?
And not only that, look, we are into this period, as I'm saying, it's education. Yes, we have a pause for the carnival and then we're going back. But sandwich between the two periods in education is the carnival. And we have to make much of the carnival. But let me just say to you, in the first part of the sandwich, if I could put it that way, we just had the results coming out from our grade 6 students. And I continue to say they have been responding magnificently.
And it has been a consistent rise.
Exactly. We
throughout
have
the years.
moved. We have moved from a stage at the beginning of the 21st century when we had roughly 4 persons out of every 10. It's almost 9 out of every 10.
That's right. And that
And
is
we're not putting them
that is
there
revolutionary,
100%.
even though they don't like to hear it.
Man,
You
it's
understand
a
what I'm saying?
revolutionary impact.
It is.
And what this has done, it has basically forced our society into accepting that, look, the magnificent response of our students means that we have to put more resources into higher education. So
Absolutely.
the students are doing better at the secondary level. Look, last
And
year
it's more than than what was the $500 incentive.
Man, more than that. Look, last year.
That's right.
Last year, the CX results. You know what it was? We recorded a performance rate of 79.1%.
That is-
That's the highest
Yes.
we have ever attained since we started
Come on,
CXC in 1979.
Come on, man.
Except for 2 years when we adjusted the exams to cater for the difficulties that our people were confronted with. One, COVID, and secondly, in the case of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the eruption of the volcano. In those 2 years, we went over to 83 and 81%. But we only did one paper. But in those examinations that we did 2 papers, best result was last year. And not only that, come back to the grade 6 students, and I have to did it on my Facebook page, but I have to congratulate them again. Look, after the ashes, I like to put it there, when we were hit significantly, I mean, remember school was disruptive, you know? Because
the people's mindsets, you understand,
not only that,
displacement.
The campuses house persons
exactly.
from the red zone, orange zone. So the students, we had to bring in some very creative way of continuing the education for our children. But over the last 3 years, and I'm including this year, we have seen performances like we have never seen before.
Absolutely.
Since 2014 when we introduced the CPA. So when they tell me about no education revolution, I say they could say that. But our people responding
I can talk something just
in
now.
a positive way to that. And just in keeping with the same conversation. Yeah, I was saying, so 87.64 year before. Last year it was 87.34, and this year is 88.4 or something like that. You see how the students
moving on
are
up like
doing,
the Jeffersons. Yeah,
right?
man.
And I make this point. I went to the Independence Park, I think a week ago,
Yeah.
where the community college had its graduation. Well, my last son, he graduated, so I mean, I used to be there as a minister.
Yes.
I used to be, it looked like I've been there for a long while because my son graduated back, I think around 2019,
Right.
the older one. The daughter was 2020. Then I'm minister, so I'm there all the time. And
Right.
then I had to go this year again for my son. But what impressed me was the turnout. We were graduating, we graduated 961 students. Now,
Somebody tell me the job sleep all thing, because you understand, like the thing didn't want done.
because, but to be honest, the certificates, I felt they move fast. Because I was
It's right.
fearful,
Yeah,
that number, we weren't going to leave the park before 6 o'clock. But come back to the point I was making. 961 students. No, that is just a graduating class, and that's not year one.
Exactly,
and so on.
yes.
Long ago, I gone back at the turn of the 21st century. You're talking roughly about 500 students when you combine students and nurses and so on, because the integration was not full yet. But now look at the numbers. But what was impressive? The park was bigger than semifinals, Calypso semifinals. And I thought this year there was a decent turnout for
that's
the
an interesting
semifinal.
comparison.
I'm serious. So the point I'm making, this education revolution is connecting with everyone.
Yes.
And it would be to the government's detriment, this present government, and to the disservice of our people if they were to roll back
On
that
anything.
revolution that is an inch.
Yeah.
Because everyone look forward to the next stage.
But
And
you even up now, you didn't talk about the biggest thing what happened for the results and so on. You understand?
No, I come into that. You will talk about faith.
Faith, of course. Well, that's huge, but
Because
I'm talking about the CPA. I talk about the 1, 2, 3. Oh, you talk about the 1, 2, 3 yet? You understand? Yeah.
come and losing you.
The 1, 2, 3 for CPA.
Oh, the positions.
You understand?
Yeah.
It was no longer a tongue school affair.
Okay. Well, again,
You understand what I'm saying?
Man,
that was huge.
and I'm glad you made that point because
And
this
when-
is not the first year. People just
As a matter of fact, in the press, you understand, they still had to do a consolation article
yes.
mentioning the so-called, elite schools. You understand what I'm saying?
You know, I always
Great
say,
respect to the valley.
I always say that this revolution in education is a series of initiatives.
That's right.
It is not one thing because to many persons, the revolution is the expansion in secondary education. But
it's
that is
across,
just
exactly,
one
yes.
component
That's
of
right.
the revolution. And
That's
I'm
right.
glad you mentioned the idea of the different schools that performing. Granted, that is basically a private assisted school.
Yes.
But I want to make this point. At the turn of the 21st century, we had only 4 graduates in the primary school system. In fact, what used to happen, and I could speak like this because I was
Well, you've been
one of
anything.
those.
You've
Yeah,
been
man, I'm an
anything forever.
educator.
Yeah.
But this specific example I'm giving you, what used to happen, when you're in the primary school and you go and you study, and those days you didn't have all these online programs and
Right,
so on.
yes.
So it used to be expensive. You had to go to Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana, or extra regionally in the US, UK, and so on. It cost a lot of money. I remember I had to take out a second mortgage
I tell you.
on my home
I tell
in
you.
order to finance
Boy.
my education. But the point I'm making, when I returned, because I was at the time teaching at a primary school, when I returned, in order for me to get some upward mobility, I had to be transferred to the secondary school because there weren't graduate positions per se in the primary school.
Yes.
And what this has done, because we, through an initiative where we sought to enhance the level of training among our teachers, it meant that what happened, we found that several teachers en masse going to university.
Exactly.
And then
that is part of the revolution.
Exactly. When the programs come now that you could stay home and do it through all kind of fancy name, I remember Moodle and all these kind of thing. More and more people graduating from university with their degree, whether undergrad, master, all that's part of the revolution.
As a matter of fact, degree has become such a commonplace word now.
Like you have to get doctorate just now.
I'm telling you to get
occupy little places, say walking. But the point I'm making, what that has done is to enhance in material ways all the schools. To the extent today, you could have persons with degree, whether undergraduate or masters, at all the childhood centers.
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, that was the vision. That was the vision of the Comrade.
That's part of the vision.
The vision of the
Comrade of the government.
Yes.
The Unity Labour Party
was to make sure and have at least one graduate per household.
So now what has happened is that you have trained up to university level, as well as we expanded the teachers' training at the certificate and diploma level. You have in the school system now so many trained and qualified teachers. In some schools, I don't want to give a figure because I can't remember the figure, but I know it's in excess of 75% right now of the total trained teachers. But I'm saying in some schools, it's like 100%. And I remember everybody used to be talking about the tongue schools. And I'm going to use my alma mater. I always use that so they can't beat me up because that's my alma mater, St. Vincent Grammar School.
Yes.
I always make the point. I remember one year I went to the West St. George Secondary School's graduation ceremony. And you know these programs that they give you. And when I look at the program, that school had more trained teachers than the St. Vincent Grammar School.
Tell you.
Because remember, a lot of times, and people don't know these things, a lot of persons sometimes go to the St. Vincent Grammar School and Girls High School as teachers in transition.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going on to university. So they think.
Point.
You know, so what you're seeing happening in the rural schools is happened by accident.
That's right.
It's part of the vision that we implemented and roll out.
Yes.
So it has been taken effect not just yesterday.
Yes.
So I want to come back now though to faith, because you know, every time there's a student who does well, a student who is living with disability. You know, that's the new what we describe.
Yeah.
Living with disability. We don't call them the disabled.
Right. Yes.
Now, there's and it ought to be a feel-good effect and so on. But what a lot of persons don't know is that we have been taking these initiatives as part of the broader policy of inclusion, where we indicate that no child shall be left behind.
True.
So we're not just mouthing that. We have taken a series of initiatives to implement that. It's true, it ain't perfect when we left. There's still some work to be done. But I can tell you, like last year when the youngster from the School for Children with Special Needs, as they call it, again, we kind of move from that because we say children in need of special education. But wherever, when that youngster, and he is a student at the St. Vincent Grammar School. Remember, there's a You Wanna Cry.
Kudos.
Okay, this year, Faith did magnificently. I talk a little bit about faith, I know. But what I'm saying, we have had students going on to secondary school before that. At Georgetown Secondary, we had, I think it was 2022, 4 students entering that school.
Awesome.
2 were blind. I'm not saying visually impaired. Or sometimes people mix them up.
Yes.
Visually impaired is
Means that you could,
but they were blind. You can't
Yes.
see. And also 2 with
Hearing disability.
Right. And one of those blind students, he will be writing exams next year. Yes.
Yes.
Out of the public school system.
Beautiful, man.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So come back to faith. And I want to big up a former principal at that school, Sharon Morgan. Sharon, good colleague, colleague from the sense that she was a principal like myself as a principal. Right. But Sharon didn't do like some persons would do. However, she had an opportunity to make a difference in terms of the students who are challenged are living with disabilities. And it was a Ministry of Education initiative. She went ahead and started an initiative that has blossomed into what the Fairhall Government School has become.
Okay.
And I want to commend her because had she not done that, persons might not have been talking about faith today. But not only that, there are several other students who are at that school with disabilities, and they have found their space and performing.
Yes, given the opportunity to shine.
Exactly. There are some students who have already graduated from that institution, went on to secondary school, and so on. So I'm saying sometimes, you know, one of the drawbacks, I would say, of our administration, the ULP administration, we were doing so many things that sometimes they get lost. So the publicity. That is
true.
I'm telling you, because when I told
because you did it because you're supposed to do it.
Exactly.
You didn't do it for the accolades. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of things. I mentioned that to somebody. I said, unlike the previous administration,
them fellas say that they put everything.
You understand? Under the Mitchell administration, you understand? No matter what it was, it went on the then GIS. You understand? And of course, we didn't have a lot of distractions in terms of promotion. You understand? So everything was your TV. So you saw everything. You understand? No matter how. I don't like to describe things as being mediocre, but no matter what it was, you saw it.
Yes.
Unlike now, where there's so much going on.
Yes.
You understand?
So what has happened? Every time something like this happen, where students excel, it come like a novel idea.
Yes.
A novel, and I would go further. And I love this one because I'm not afraid and ashamed to say. I took the bulls by the horn and ensure that at the Fairhall Government School, we have employed with the staff a blind teacher. Believe me, a blind teacher.
Yes.
And I tell you something, this young lady has 4 O-levels. Yeah? I think she was living in Barbados or something. She has a bit sensual, but I guess when they see her talent, they look for opportunity.
Yes, for her.
This girl is so talented. She used to DJ, you know. No, I'm telling you.
I tell you, buddy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, she has 4 O-levels. But she has several certificates. And I think in a case to a diploma.
Specialized in different things.
Things like Braille and I couldn't understand the ministry. Well, not the ministry, the government's position. When I say government now, I'm not talking about cabinet. The government structure.
Right, yes.
Like the Public Service Commission, which is responsible for hiring and so on. And their position is that they can't employ this young lady because she only has 4 subjects. The requirement is 5.
Okay.
So I argued with the officials for months in my ministry. I say, so why in this modern day and age, when we have accreditation committee and institution, why we can't say reclassify, well, not really reclassify, but do an analysis of the certificate share or the diploma share.
Yes.
And recalibrate that so that it could be counted as a subject and girl get 5. Boy, those things like the song too new. Too revolutionary.
Too maverick, yes. Too maverick.
So the thing, and so I would not give up. The young lady is there employed as a teacher. But you know what that has done? When as a student you're there and you are blind and you know that there's a teacher who is faced with the same situation like you, it does well for you.
Yes, that's right, for esteem and so on. And you connect as well. Yeah.
But come back to Faith. I met Faith through the representative for the former representative for East St. George, Comrade Camillo.
Yes.
And more than that, though, I met her in person through him. But even before that, her mom had called me, and I want to big up her mom. Yes, I know I told you all, congratulated you all in person, and by chance I met them outside of Massianis way, Faith and mommy and daddy. But I must tell you, the parents, and that's why parents are important in education.
Driving force in the thing.
Driving force. That young lady, I mean, she called me even before I knew her, and we talked, and I remember putting the Ministry of Education on notice. After I met Faith, I said, look now, this girl is going to excel at the CPA, so y'all better start putting
when I saw her
conditions.
Remember
because she going straight to one of those.
You remember when she visited Comrade at the then premises office? You remember that interview?
Yeah.
I was so moved because she's so articulate.
Man.
So articulate, in terms of her speech, right? Her THs and so on. And that's what drives me. She's sharp as a tack. Yeah.
She's sharp. Look, we had a foundation coming out of Taiwan. God bless their soul. They're really helpful people. And I remember we had brought them here to support 2 projects.
Yeah, because she speaks Mandarin.
Yes. So we had brought them to yes, they were supporting 2 projects, a science lab, not a full lab though, but we put in place the basic in Chomoka, Ontario Secondary School, and a food preparation lab at the Western George Secondary School. It's a TX Foundation, it's a charity.
Right.
And we met them at the airport, myself and some of the top officials in the Ministry of Education. And the airport people were generous. They provided us with the VIP lounge, and we met. And I remember saying to the wife of the head of the foundation, look, I have a pet project and I want you all to support. Remember, this wasn't a part of the project. So they say how much it would cost. I say $40,000 US. You know what that was about? Having some items for people who are challenged.
Right.
The blind. So we're talking about canes, basic things, as such as canes, and sophisticated things such as computers with braille built in and so on and so on. And the lady said, well, Minister King, I'm going to finance this. This does not have to go to the board for approval.
How wonderful.
I'm going to spend this from my own resources. And they live up good to their promise and give. So when TX Foundation came basically for the opening of the food lab and the science lab, I said, remember the project we talk about? We have to visit the school because there's a recipient who is very grateful.
Yes.
So we're going out there now at Fair Hall Government And we are speaking to the class that Faith is in. And first, I spoke, I think the teacher asked, who is this person speaking? Some people call me, I'm Prime Minister Gonzalez. I was big that time, so I said, boy, I'm really big in truth. So then Faith put her hand in the air. And she said, that is Minister King.
I tell you.
The others who could see, couldn't see. But
come on, man.
Using
yes.
Look,
sharp
man.
as a tack. Yeah.
Then we're going to bring the house down. The lady is talking about the Taiwanese lady. She's saying, where I'm from, we speak this language. And Faith says, I can speak Mandarin. So they probably thought she was kicking.
Yes.
No, she said something to her in Mandarin. And Faith responded.
I tell you.
Look, people marvel. And I mean, I talk a lot about the X Foundation with the school, but there's one group I must also big up, because I don't want it to sound like ungrateful and we're looking at only the Mormons. We call them
okay,
the Church of
Latter-day Saints.
They have supported that school with resources also, through, of course, the Ministry of Education. And I mean, we're just grateful. And that school has other students who will excel in time to come. Yes?
Yes,
but I'm really happy at what is happening. We actually brought from Cuba. In fact, I remember one of my visits to Cuba. I used to like go Cuba, telling you the truth.
On my bucket list, still.
A nice place.
Yeah?
Yes, but on one occasion I went there when the Cuban government was honoring Comrade Ralph. So both of us went. And whenever I travel to Cuba, I always want to study their education system to see what kind of help we could get. And then we had signed a memorandum of understanding. Right. So I had visited a number of their institutions because, I mean, they are far ahead.
Absolutely.
They have all these institutions.
They're just under pressure right now with the wicked embargo, that's all.
Wicked Trump administration. But I was making the point that when we visited Cuba on that occasion, one of the things we agreed on was that they would send us an expert to help us to set up a more structured approach to dealing with children living with disability. And the professor came, study system, submit our first report, and then we were to continue it. And boy, it didn't get to continue. I hope that they would follow up though. But very, very useful program, and they were very helpful. And these are things happening. And I emphasize, and we spend a lot of time on that, because we want to ensure that we don't leave any child behind. And I'm hopeful that this government would continue that same program. So and even expand it, because as I'm saying, we need a more structured approach to dealing with it. Look, we ran a pilot project. I must tell you, I didn't agree totally with the manner in which it was thing, because it was coming with support from some consultants, and I really believe it should have come through the Ministry of Education. But when I got there, it was already in place. But we ran a program in Beckwith.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think you and I are on the same wavelength. So I too had reservation. Because I thought it might have been.
I won't go to them now, but
I thought it was kind of exclusionary. But yes.
But the idea and the effort wasn't bad, but I just felt that there are some other things at the time. But yes, I'm saying all these are initiatives that we took, and more you're going to hear about them. There's a youngster. Finally, there's a youngster in with a school in Bible we call Adelphi Secondary School. He was visually impaired. I'm not sure what he is doing now, but so we have those students, and they are making headway. So again, let me finish this educational bit But once again,
it's a lot to celebrate,
yeah,
though.
man,
You understand?
Commended our students
Yes.
for continuing to respond in a magnificent way, a positive
Our
way
young
to
people,
our education
our young people are
revolution.
making strides,
Yes,
and
man.
you got to
And
be
they're
proud of
doing
them.
Well, of course.
You know?
And I always remind people, don't forget, we had COVID, we had volcanic eruption, and we had a Category 4
Yes.
hurricane. But yet still, our education system was resilient and continued to churn out good. And
I remember there was a bit of concern, with respect to our boys,
yes.
right?
Yes. But I remember a question was asked in Parliament, and when we give the results, persons were surprised that the gap wasn't that
Well,
wide.
okay.
Yeah. But what would happen, though, I think what would happen, and strange enough, persons are not looking at it now, but I always believe these things go in cycle. And I must
As
say,
in phases, you mean?
yeah.
Okay.
I must say, I am not one who believe in identifying the top 10 performers and
You're right.
so on, because schools are working hard, and when you think only the schools, because people could get that impression, the way we promote it.
Yes.
Now look, only certain schools doing good because they're in the top 10. But I want to say, the truth is, some of these students, I miss my train of thought there. But the students, though, without just focusing on top 10, my thing is that these students have done well consistently. Yeah,
Yes.
it was the boys.
I know you're
so,
pulling back. Yeah.
So what happened? There's a period when the girls in the top performers, say they say top 10,
Yes.
you would have like 8 girls and 2 boys. And that continued for a period.
Right.
And then people start saying, well, what the boys do? It is true that overall, the girls generally would do better than the boys. But the margin has narrowed, significantly.
That's good. That's
and
good.
what has happened in recent times, and that's why you're not hearing it so much again, the boys have been dominating the
Yes.
top 10,
Coming up.
including this year.
Stepping up, yeah, that's right.
So
That's right.
persons don't talk about it.
But we have
the
to.
girls still doing better than the boys.
we should.
But the girls still doing
Yeah,
better.
we should give them that encouragement.
Yes,
you know?
of course.
Yeah.
Yes. But so I was saying, so let me congratulate them. And I know they would go on. Every one of them is guaranteed a secondary school place. I don't think this government is brave enough to change that in the near future. Because as I'm saying, you can see what this revolution has done. And I want to make the point, because some persons, sometimes even some senior people hear them talk, you wonder, because they're
But
saying
you know that this has never really been, education has never really been their focus, though.
Yeah.
That has never been their forte.
Yeah, but even
know?
so, you would hear some people talking about
Unless it's something
skills,
obvious.
Skills. Of course, we have also promoted TVET,
Yes.
which is technical
Exactly.
vocational education training. But
that has changed the landscape, as a matter of fact.
But I have
in
been
that
saying-
it's you go beyond the academia.
I have been saying,
Yeah.
but persons must understand that TVET is like academics, only one component in the broader education system.
Yes.
And it must not be seen as like how some persons are promoting it, as a replacement
Right.
for academics.
Or an alternative,
You have
yes.
to have a basic
Of course.
academic
Absolutely. Yeah.
program if you are going to benefit
Yes.
from persons doing technical vocational
Yes.
education and training, and to show, look, this is a booklet that was recently launched by
Hold it up and show them.
yes, a senior education officer, Mrs. Paulette Hanaway Primus. She is senior education officer with responsibility for TVET in the
yes.
Ministry of Education, and she has done 2 books. And TVET, basically, she called them Naila Exploring, right? Basically, trying to encourage from a very early age, persons to look at the option of TVET.
Yes.
I think I mentioned this here already, where she and I participated in an OECS program that was jointly collaborated with, jointly run by the OECS and the European Union, where about 15 of us from 2 ministers, myself, well, I always say St. Vincent, we were the ones driving the TVET.
Right.
So myself and the minister from Grenada were sent as the leaders of the delegation, and we went to Germany and the Netherlands to study. They don't call it TVET, they call it vocational education and training.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yes, and those are countries with two of the better system, and we participated, we studied the thing, and I know it would have had an impact on our senior education officer. Very good lady, and I'm so happy that she has done this. And so there's a lot of great things that took place in education. It is for the new administration to forget about this foolishness, but they want a revolution and so on, and to move on and to expand what we have done. Because, like I have said, don't talk about education service. That is not a substitute for the revolution. What we are saying, we have revolutionized the education service. So you can't say education service as a substitute for the revolution.
Yes. Shame the shame.
Yes. But yes. So moving on.
Well, you don't even have to move on just yet. I was going to say that it really was a phenomenal thrust.
Yes.
You know, because the human being, each of us don't develop at the same rate.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? There's some of us who are inclined to, as we say, quote unquote, book learning. You understand what I'm saying? Straight academia, you know, and there are those of us who you give us raw material and you say, hey, and in 10 minutes, they can create something.
That's right.
You know, that can translate into money in hand. So we have all these different skills and talents.
That's why I say it's a component.
Yeah.
But we must never substitute a basic
because you need to know how to manage things and how things,
If you can't measure, you know, I tell you this. I was at an institution, I ain't going to name it, because I don't want anybody to become too clever. But I remember some students were getting some challenge with math. And I was wondering that this particular
which was another thing I was going to ask about.
Yes, this particular school, their students were doing good. And their results were saying they're doing good in math. But then when they came to the particular school, by the time they get to Form 2, they were struggling in math. And I couldn't understand this, so, boy, wanting to make an intervention, I decided I go in the Form 1 and look at them, and so on and so on. So I remember observing. And these students, they were measuring incorrectly, using a ruler and measuring incorrectly. I mean, it amazed me at the time. But then afterwards, I see how such a mistake could be made and it could be perpetuated.
Corrected,
No, what I'm saying, it could be perpetuated without being
corrected. I understand, right.
They take it from the primary school into
and
the
carry
secondary school.
yes.
And it would come back to your question. Basically, the mistake they were making, they were measuring from 1
and not from 0. Yes.
So and you know, if somebody had told me that without, I say nah. But so sometimes if you have teachers who don't like teaching a subject and couldn't care less,
yes,
you see how a problem
you gave me flashback. You gave me flashbacks.
Perpetuated, and then
I remember in my time in secondary school. The same form to already. You understand? There was a certain individual who was very popular now, but you know, you go out everybody, and he was just instruction. Go give instruction, you figure it out.
Yeah,
you understand?
yeah.
So it was not until another individual who came, and that individual became principal of said school. You know, he came with a totally different approach. He was like, okay, what are your weaknesses? What are you struggling with?
Yeah.
You understand? Come and tell me, and let's work it out.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, sometimes these things look simple.
Yes.
But if you don't correct them.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I'm glad you mentioned that, because now, look, math. You know, before we left office, I told people over and over, look, since we started CXC in 1979, you can count on one hand the number of times we exceeded 50% pass rate in mathematics.
Wow.
And 2 of those years were when we made some adjustment. I always like to say that to the exam.
Okay.
Because of the COVID and the volcano. Now, I know people used to say to me when I because I've been making that point even when I was headmaster and go to these regional meetings. We have a very good organization called the Caribbean Association of Secondary School Principals. Principals of Secondary School, CAPS. So we have these meetings every 2 years, and it's basically training exercise, basically. And I would complain about math. And everybody will say, but maths is a challenge throughout the region. And somebody even go further.
That's what I was going to get to that point there. You understand? Because we're hearing, you know, Jamaica right now is struggling big time.
But we can't be satisfied. We're just saying because other people.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
that we
can't fix it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I was at the ministry, one of the things, and again coming out of the system and having discussions with persons, because I remember one guy, he used to be at the grammar school, Art Ballantyne, and they had taken him to the ministry one time. I remember sharing some concern I had with him, and he, in all fairness to him, he had a good understanding of the issue, you say math problem and thing. And he shared some good insight. But what I'm saying, when I started looking at the math issue, it became part of my crusade nationally and regionally to get something done to this math thing. To the extent that CXC, I'm a good friend, if you're listening, in the registrar, Wesley, Dr. Wesley. Good evening, sir, if you're by chance hearing this. Yes, I have to big up my partner, Wesley. And I waged this campaign, say, look, yes, our students are weak in math, but it has to be beyond that too. It has to do with your exams too.
Yes.
And we start discussing with CXC how we could change the math
because that's a very important point you're making. There are students who would do well in the classwork and so on throughout the thing. When you get to the the decider, it's a wholly different story.
But I put it simply. Simply, I used to put it. I would say, look, Dr. Wesley, I want to enter business, so I doing basic arithmetic. How you call it? Computation and everything. Because that's my interest. And next man want to fly, he might have to go do calculus.
He want to do sine and cosine and you understand? Yeah.
So my thing, me want to fly. Why me have to go do calculus and me mind use any rest of my life?
That was my argument at my time, brother.
So right. And
mind you, I ended up doing good at it, but that was my thing. Yeah.
And so we start to talk about micro-credentialing and all kind of things and breaking down. And CXC on a program, you know, just before the elections, there was supposed to be a meeting to further discuss this.
I tell you.
So I was invited because I want the man pushing heavy. Couldn't go because it was election, it was October. But I think they had postponed the meeting, and I know St. Vincent and the Grenadines was represented.
Okay.
But I'm saying, yes, I was of the view that the issue had to be tackled at all levels. But that is at the CXC level. But home, I said, look, man, our problem I think we have here, we have been doing initiative after initiative. But what we have not done is a national program, if you like, a national initiative that you earmark for a time period, then you evaluate it,
Okay.
you build on your strengths and work out your weakness.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was on the board of governors and of the Commonwealth of Learning. And I said to them, well, look, y'all have scaled down y'all operations in the Caribbean because I need to hear more things happening here. So when they asked me, I said, well, I want to see something happening in maths. But so they did something across 3 Caribbean countries, St. Vincent, St. Kitts, I think was St. Lucia. Good initiative, yes. But it was too much at the micro level.
Okay.
Because we have serious problem, man.
Yes.
Yeah, you're doing, so perhaps like say 17 or 15 schools involved in civil. People don't even realize we have 90-something institutions.
I tell you. Just so.
You have 27 secondary and 67 primary. 90-something, 94, whatever. So, and then, remember now, we have, it's another part of the revolution that people don't talk about. When we came into office, it was like 15% of the children of early childhood education
Oh, yes.
were in
Yes,
preschool.
yes.
We
Again,
moved that now almost 9.
again,
Yeah,
revolution.
people don't even see that. So I was saying, so you're talking about, and we even mentioned that, because what we did now, to drive changes there, especially in terms of enhancing the quality at the schools by the private operators who are dominant in this sector. They employ more skilled persons and so on, more trained persons. We took the initiative of establishing our own centers and where people are paid. You know, one of the heart-wrenching thing I always remember, when we decided to set up preschools, and they started even before my time of in the Ministry of Education, under Jimmy Prince, I think it started, where we were establishing these centers, and then during my time we built more. But on the heart-wrenching thing, when you listen to some of the preschool teachers, you hear they say they're working for $400 a month.
Remember that?
Jesus Christ, man, $400 a month.
I tell you.
Now, even programs we were paying that amount. In fact, some of the private preschools would ask us to assign,
of course, yes.
And when we move, if you were trained at the Teachers College Associate degree, we appointed you as a qualified assistant teacher, kind of over $3,000 a month.
I tell you.
If you got a degree, we appointed you as a graduate. You're starting for some, you're reaching for some thousand a month. I'm just trying to show you. So when people talk about no revolution, they don't know what they're talking about.
Come on.
They don't know
it
what
is such
they're
a
talking
big
about.
conversation that it probably goes above their heads.
I always say, man.
Yeah, probably goes above their heads,
talk
man.
about education.
I give them the benefit of the doubt.
I could talk for 3 years, non-stop. And the kind of initiatives that we had. And I keep making the point. These initiatives were investment.
Of course.
No. People check it as if it's charity. So that when you hear, and Comrade dealt with that good today, I listened to that part of the program. I'm talking about the initiative with Lotto. And where basically now they're asking you to apply, but under review, because the intention is to cut the number of persons who get support. And they're looking at it in a simplistic kind of manner, without understanding that, look,
they're just doing number crunching as opposed to considering what their social responsibility is.
And the impact that these initiatives are having on the family and people. Man, I hope they look at what happened in the park when you had community college graduation. I go back 961 and the park fuller than any.
Of course.
calypso competition I see there. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Rampack in the tall stand. Look everywhere. That is the kind of impact. Why you think people go into the Independence Park to celebrate and to bask in the glory of they even know the results yet, you know. But to them, their children, they're graduating from community college.
They're proud women. Yes.
People couldn't even, before our advent into office, some people couldn't go secondary school.
That is a fact.
You know, proud people feel now going secondary school.
That is a fact.
And then they come tell me some trippiness. I would say to students all the time, they could take everything else from you, but they can't take away
it.
education.
Exactly.
So don't come tell me that, yes, different students apply themselves differently. And some would benefit greater than others.
That's right.
But ultimately, once you're exposed to an education, it could only serve you in good stead. Yeah. So, and in this same breath, I want to congratulate a pleasant young lady. I know she didn't stick for nonsense neither. And she gets some unfair criticism. But I always say, Jesus Christ came here and they crucified him. And they say, give us Barabbas instead. So I always say when people go out, I say, don't feel no way.
Yes.
Don't feel. But I'm talking about a good friend of mine, Kim Martin Jack, who is the Chief Education Officer, now retired Chief Education Officer. She did a wonderful job. All the success I'm talking about that we leave.
Yes.
She contributed significantly and was part of it.
Yes.
And she was Chief Education Officer. And in the same breath, I want to thank Kay for a wonderful and valuable contribution that she has made
True
to the
nation
education.
builder,
And she ain't come no fly by night. She was an educator.
Exactly.
She taught at the primary, taught at St.
That's a name I grew up hearing, even though I didn't really know her.
Exactly.
But
so she did. She gave up her dues, man. She did well. And in the same breath, I want to congratulate the new chief, Mavis Finley Joseph. I remember when I was at university in my final year.
Is it something with the hyphenated name?
Well,
because if you check it out and you go back,
a modern time when
if you go back there and you had Yvonne Francis Gibson, you had some women, you understand, strong.
But Mavis like came through the ranks of the education sector. And she's chief, so I want to congratulate her. True professional, and I hope she gets the support, and I know she would continue the revolution because she see what it has done and impacted.
Absolutely.
Because technically, when you listen to the critics about the education revolution, it's not really the education revolution in substance that they're attacking.
Yes, sure.
It's the name. So don't call it education revolution, call it education summit. So congrats.
And of course, anything you have, they look to rubbish. As the pettiness you have to compete against. You know?
There was something I wanted to do that I didn't get a chance to do, and I know these programs fly, but I want to quickly.
I don't know how we reach 15 more minutes. I don't know how we reach it.
And I want to touch on the bills. But before I reach it, I can't leave here without extending my solidarity and support to the comrades and the government and people of Venezuela.
Of course.
In their time of
rough times, man. Rough times.
I mean, those earthquakes really mashed that place up.
And the thing is like a season, man. I mean, Cuba was, going through all this, turmoil. Now Venezuela going through.
But you know how it impacts your life. When I look at a particular building that I had stayed, and I see, boy, what happened to it. So I could identify with the people there in Caracas there where we had stayed. And
I told somebody the other day, you have to remember too, these were the first set of people who came to our aid during our hardship.
Exactly.
You understand?
But I know people just say, boy, you like history. Yeah, but I understand.
We are students of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people from the Orinoco River in Venezuela, and them who start settling these islands in the Caribbean.
Yep. Yeah.
Same people we call Arawaks.
Yeah, traveling by canoe. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and before them, the Siboneyes. Yeah. So
That's right.
we have always been linked. Yes.
True.
So, and we have had very good relationship with them. So I hail up my comrade and good brethren, the ambassador. I came out by you. It was a week ago when the first one hit, but I didn't see him, so I have to find him. And so, but whatever I could do, I would try. And I know our comrade leader, even though we're not in government, I know through his contacts,
Yes.
he's still making the effort to mobilize.
That's right.
Whatever help.
You can, yeah.
Yes, to them. Just like Cuba, and I say, man, I felt so hurt with Cuba. I mean, after so many years, you still have in this modern period a leader who would want to starve the people into submission because that's what it is.
High level wickedness, man.
But I'm telling you, having visited Cuba, and I went to Cuba even during my time as a youth leader here. These people have adjusted significantly to the challenges.
To their circumstances,
I know they will make it. But when it come down now to these basic things, like you can't get electricity, your food spoiling, and
you have babies now in jeopardy.
It could put pressure on your system, man.
I tell you.
And I'm saying these people are so wicked. You have Israel just murdering people day after day.
I tell you.
But you find in Israel an ally. But Cuba, just because they have a different political system from you want to starve them into submission.
That is the height of wickedness.
Yeah, man. I get real emotional over these things.
Absolutely.
And especially, I remember when they murdered Gaddafi. The West murdered Gaddafi.
Exactly.
The Libyan leader.
Yes, like a dog in the streets.
Yeah, man. And I remember I had done a 3-part piece in one of those newspapers. I remember 2 popular commentators that took me to task. And the old book, you know, communists and all kind of crap. Now I hear some of them, some same people now understanding what happened.
That's the thing, because the first thing they did was swallow the American propaganda.
And the same thing happening with this Israel, US war against Iran. People think it's about nuclear thing. About it, that there's only this smoke screen. It has to do in Israel case. We know what it has to do in Israel. Just want to wipe out our competitor. But in America, it's all about the dollars, man.
Of course, brother.
It's all about the dollars. But people can't understand them things. That's for a different discussion.
I tell you.
Before I end, I wanted to comment on the 2 bills, which basically seek one to amend the Constitution and the other to amend the Representation of the People's Act. And I just want to remind persons that what happened, these bills were on I think the last meeting was the 24th of April. So next thing you know, we have to really put pressure on the government to have more regular meetings of Parliament. They're talking about transparency and so on. If you could say what you like about the ULP administration, the month wasn't passing without
something happening. Exactly.
And partner, you know, if you only having one meeting, I miss that meeting. They going later.
What you mean?
We have to
do the people's work.
Good. We have to encourage them to have meetings, man. You can't tell me outside of the budget they probably had 2 meetings, right? This must be the second one.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. But yes, I was saying. Now let me just remind listeners that what had happened. 2 of the ULP's comrades who contested the last election, they had challenged their opponents' qualification to participate in the elections. That is to say, Carlos Williams ran against the now Prime Minister, who was then opposition leader, Godwin Friday, in the Northern Grenadines. and Comrade Luke Brown, who contested against Fitzbambro,
yeah.
Minister of Foreign Affairs now. And basically, the petitions were filed challenging their qualification on the basis that, acting on their own accord, they had swore allegiance to another state, a foreign state. And therefore, according to the Constitution, at least the interpretation of the ULP, where the Constitution is concerned, that this was improper.
Yes, it is.
So the matter was taken to the court. So the lower court said, well, yes, there's a case to be answered here. So it's going on to the High Court. Remember that happened, and it was put for July. Now, after the ruling that it should go to High Court, this present administration tried to secure an advantage for themselves. They deem that the fuzzy area is the definition of a foreign power or foreign state. So they decided to give themselves some insurance by amending the elections law, that is the RPA, and also the Constitution.
Yes.
And of course, due to the opposition's initiative and if a proactiveness and diligence.
Of course.
Because I'm telling you, what has strict...
Because they try to sneak it through.
and I'm going to make the point. What this new government has to contend with is an opposition that works.
That's right. Facts.
During their time, they didn't work.
No. You're bluffing they were through the whole thing.
Bluffing. You know how many times them fellas come to Parliament and fellas would get up and say, I didn't really read this bill, you know, but then proceeded to talk for the next 45 minutes out the allotted time.
Exactly.
And a bill that is there,
Yes.
and they just glance through, wasting people's time.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Proper
That
bluffing.
ain't going to happen with this opposition.
That's right. Now they realize how functioning opposition is. Yeah.
So they realize now you have to come good. So when they try this, we spot it immediately. And of course...
And it's dastardly, really.
Yeah.
Because you're looking to do this thing retroactively.
But here...
That's what is dastardly about this thing.
I think I wrote it down. Here, when the order paper for the House of Assembly, when they got to dealing with those bills, the leader of the House was always the Prime Minister. And this in this case, Prime Minister Godwin Friday. He basically said, I had written it down somewhere, yes, he basically said that, look, these matters are important. The bills then, they are important. He said that, you know. Yes, look, I have it here. I always make me notes when I listen to things. So, this is what he said. He said, these matters, and I had put in bracket the bills, are important, broadly important, to the public discourse. He said then, look, man, because these bills are of great public interest, we are not going to deal with them at this time. In fact, we're going to delay it so that there would be public discourse.
Public discourse, exactly.
He said, we are intending to address them in broad and wide discussions. That's what he said, and I quote him word for word. And he invited, this is my summation now, and he invited broad public debate on these bills. So, I am looking forward now to a period when we're going to have these discussions. In the same way, when we had brought the constitutional amendment bill, when we were talking about new constitution, man, we discuss it here, America, all over the diaspora.
So now they're trying to sneak it,
you get
sneak it in the back door again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here the problem I have with this, and this is the fundamental issue, you know. This is a matter before the court.
Exactly.
This is an
That is
active
the point.
issue.
Yes, it's an active case.
And instead of you allow the
You're
court,
trying to circumvent.
which supposed to enjoy its independence, you want to basically circumvent the process
preempt. Yeah.
by changing the constitution, the highest.
Yes.
And
That's why I use the word
So
dastardly. That's what
right.
that is.
so that you could get some insurance, because this is what
It's a self-serving.
About.
It's a
protecting.
yeah.
So 2 times parliament meeting, and the only, I shouldn't say that. Let me take it back. I shouldn't say the only, because there are other bills. But I'm saying, but in both sittings, you have on your other paper a bill that is self-serving. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You can't be so bold-faced.
And they try. You see, and they're smart, and they're trying to
thing
sneak
is
it back
smart.
in at a time when the country is more distracted.
But they
Yeah.
don't know that this opposition is not like
Come on, like them.
them
Exactly.
when they were in
Yes.
opposition. This one vigilant. And our job is to encourage. Boy, you getting there?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We to encourage for the public discussions. If
That's
they don't
right.
want to take the initiative, we have to do that.
That's right. We are about
And
sweeping
we have
on the
to
rug.
keep this in the awareness and the consciousness
That's right.
of our people, because democracy is at stake.
Of course.
Hannah, they could say what they like, but throughout all,
To tamper with the Constitution is
government.
is most serious, you know.
exactly, we have been running a country based on laws.
Exactly.
And there are people, yes, there are rulings that the courts would make that we don't like, but we still have it. And the vast majority of us still feel we could go to that court and let them make a ruling on something.
Exactly.
And we accept it, even if we might be disappointed
But
in the ruling.
My thing is the same
trust exists.
fervor in which we approach the you remember the thumbs down thing and so on, and you know with the Constitution. The same
Yeah.
we approach that, and we respected the view and the opinion of the people. Is the same way that this supposed to be respected. You understand? And not try to sneak in, bamboozle, basically pull the wool over people's eyes.
And I want to make this point, because I know they would try this and the gullible would accept it.
Well, sadly, there are those, you know,
But look,
that anything they do, they
this
don't
is
see a
not
problem with it.
the ULP trying to bring down the government.
That's right.
The people give the NDP an overwhelming majority in the House.
Yeah.
14-1.
That's right.
So, and we don't even know how the court would rule. But let us just say the court rule in favor.
It's not going to
of
change.
Luke,
It's not going to
Comrade
change
Luke,
government.
It's not going to change government.
No.
What we are seeking to do is to establish once and for all.
Proper procedure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Protocols.
And so this issue won't come back up.
Yes.
Because to some of us, we can't understand how you could be swearing allegiance to a next country and want to serve in the highest
Exactly. Office of the land. Yeah.
office of the land, because you have divided loyalty.
That's right.
And in the case of the then opposition leader, now PM, you talk about proudly having
Not a hung's shame.
the Canadian passport
Not a hung's shame.
in one pocket and the Vincentian passport in
Not
the
a hung's shame.
next pocket. We want people who don't just say you love St. Vincent and Grenadines, man. You must demonstrate
Exactly.
that you love St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have had it in the past, you know, and we know, one, I see somebody still trying to say nonsense about Sir Louis. Sir Louis give up his status. And
How much time do they want to hear that?
Camelo give up his.
Yes, exactly.
There's our brother we here show if he give up. He had contested for ULP and then ULP again. But we here show
Yes.
if he had give up, because he was a minister. But I'm saying if he contest the election, he's still wrong.
Of course.
Yeah, even if it's me Comrade or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You had to say.
But they're trying their best to circumvent the Constitution.
You can't do that,
you understand what I'm saying? The Constitution of 7 Grenadines, for your own self-interest.
Exactly. You can't do that. And we're not going to sit down and accept that.
Not at all.
So we would keep that issue burning. So if fellas think because it's carnival that we get carried away in the wet fit and
you understand?
And this and that. Nah, man, we still
with wine and jam, not today.
Not today.
Not today at all. Good one today, brother.
Yes, I really want to thank you very much. Good uncle. Always.
Come on, man. You understand?
I always say the man with the golden voice. And all the thanks.
Well, you know, we had the open door, you know, you understand? So once you had the time, come, have some conversations.
Yes. Well, I got to the meeting late, and Augustine said, well, it was decided you had to go on Monday. So I don't think So I was happy to be here.
And, yes, and good comments. When you go back and you look at the live and so on, good comments from the people. Thank you all for behaving yourselves today. You know, normally I just had to kind of pull all you up and thing and so on. Always get a little carried away and thing and start to cuss. But,
As the headmaster in the house, they don't want to get killed.
So big ups to everybody who was on the live, and they certainly enjoyed the discourse. You know, everybody who was on today. I was monitoring all the time to make sure all you behaved and things. You all did well.
Yes, I enjoyed the carnival as usual. Conduct yourself properly, do everything in moderation. But Vinci Carnival, we always big. I mean, I love some of the soca. I ain't coming out. I ain't gonna say who I think gonna be road match, but okay, in my own way. I notice you playing some too, so but man, I'm my only little challenge, I always say, with Vinci, we have a unique brand of soca. We must stick to that one. Every time we try bringing the other influence and everything. But we hear
somebody said our culture is very porous.
So I mean, you can't stop it from being infiltrated because you influencing others too. But come on, man, our beat so unique.
You need to recognize our authenticity and push it, man. So big ups to those who carry anything nice. You know what I mean? Yeah, somebody said problem child again. But I don't know. Watch it and see.
but we have good songs. But we
got a good crop of stuff. You understand?
Yes.
And you see, again, this is the importance of those creative hubs.
Yes.
By the way, do you know that Barbados is taking up that stuff? You understand? Why are we shooting it down?
Yeah.
You understand? Me and Motley and her government saying, we're going to have to do this thing.
A lot of it has to do with vision. And person don't understand. And I always say, you probably could say we talk too much in terms of articulating vision. You can't say that we didn't articulate the vision.
Right.
We have,
because we recognize, again, the skills and talents.
Exactly. But the creatives, very important. I am happy and was happy when they established a ministry, so they're going to focus on the creative. I'm still waiting, but it's all it is yet. I really hope that coming out of that, though, that they would have gone ahead with those wonderful facilities. We had already opened the one, did the groundbreaking in Central, North Central,
right.
And then we want to put two smaller ones
on the leeward side and so on.
Useful. And it brings me back to people looking at the city that we were talking about, honestly, as concrete structure. A city goes beyond that.
Of course. When I saw the preliminary stuff, I was blown away. I said, if only this could have materialized.
And boy, talk about I still praying. It happened. And if it means that the ULP and its return to office whenever.
Yes.
And it ain't done has to continue. Look, you check the southern coastline of St. Vincent. You check from Manisville, Calico, out into Diamond.
Yep.
That whole area is supposed to be urban in this orientation.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So that you could take the pressures of a King song. This is not the time when you have to come one place to do all this.
Yep.
And then you could even go further and take it next view by Georgetown. Look, I have seen where
And that had already started happening.
our neighbors next door, 21, it's 21 miles to St. Lucia away from us. You take St. Lucia. I remember going there in the early 80s. They had a plan, and they have done it in terms of developing, what you call the place, View Fort,
Yeah.
as a second city. And now, you see going Grozy Lane.
Grozy Lane, well, I was just going to tell you that. Yeah.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on. And we had started, you could say, like, give all labor that credit in terms of Georgetown. They had the sugar factory there, they had enough
The
action.
revitalization of Georgetown. You
Yes,
understand?
and that was going. And we
And the
were on
expanded thrust,
trajectory
the expanded
to
thrust
continue.
with health,
Yeah.
you know, and marrying the whole thing about health tourism and
Man, look.
I tell you,
so
we went
people
from
must-
vision to stagnation, but it is what it is, brother.
Yeah, but people
It is
have
what
to
it is.
just go beyond just looking at these things on the surface and try to understand the vision, because the vision has always been articulated.
Yes, absolutely.
But once again, thanks for
Man,
having
love and
me,
blessings, brother.
Yeah,
It's
man.
really good to have you today.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And then remember, the door is always open. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. All the best.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna leave. I can't leave without bigging up Brazil.
Okay,
Japan give us
yeah.
a fight. These Japanese, man, they're strong and they're well organized.
Yes.
So it wasn't easy breaking down their defense. But I always felt that we were going to do it.
All right, there you go.
But it sweat me out still. And I have to big up West Indies. We chant them when they do bad.
I
But
tell you.
they won a great test match.
Yeah.
Establish a world record in terms of a partnership. 401 runs.
Come on, man.
And
yes.
I said, I'm looking at this boy, Django, the guy who made the double 100, the Trini guy. I mean, this guy, he has scored 3 first-class centuries. 3 of them are double 100s, you know.
Wow.
So I hope he could build on that. And finally, the females in the ICC T20 competition, I got real mad with them. We beat the strong teams on them, except England. We get a team that never won a match in the ICC World Cup, ever. Ireland. We made Ireland beat us.
I tell you.
And so our destiny was in the hands of the English. They're lucky the English, sorry for us.
And
Because had England not beaten New Zealand, we were out.
There you
Because
go.
New Zealand had a better net run rate.
And if you had to start talking sports, we could even mention the what ifs.
Yes.
You know, after the wet fit of the weekend now. The what ifs. You know, the one we let slip through our fingers.
Yeah.
I tell
That
you.
ball would have
You
been
understand?
coming.
Come
But
on.
you know our party would have done the work.
Of course, that would
We
have
not
happened.
sleep on that.
You understand?
Men going
It would have been nearing
round the clock.
completion.
Exactly.
It would have been nearing completion. That's a fact.
I left this one with you.
Yeah.
I remember when we were doing the grammar school, and we had to get the school back in town of the town.
Yes.
And we were there working like hell, you know, man, to get the thing so that I could open for Monday for the beginner school.
Yes, I remember that.
And a journalist came down. A journalist was a student at the same school and took pictures and all kind of things, posted up, but basically trying to belittle us.
Yes.
This could ever be ready for Monday. Well. And the union would have been salivating at the time. Man. When they turned on Monday, man, they couldn't believe it. I'm just trying to show you, once
Yes.
we decide something was going to happen,
You make it
what's going to
happen.
man.
We make it
Gotta
happen.
Make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right.
Conversation with the King today. We'll do it again. Right here on your Star Sound. Time in SBG and across the Eastern Caribbean, according to my ticker, it is just about 9 minutes after 6 o'clock. Still going to bring to you the news with all the big stories from your country, your region, your world. Stay tuned for it right here on your Star Sound.